I mean, it's definitely normal for me. The cameras were around since I was 9 years old, so I don't remember a life before all this. But it has its ups and downs, but the good is definitely worth the bad.
Kylie Jenner, the billion-dollar baby sister of the Kardashian-Jenner family and social media royalty. Kylie has set records and broken the beauty industry with her ever-growing Kylie Cosmetics empire. Fashion-forward and trend-setting, she has the internet in the palm of her hand, waiting for her next line of lip kits or her next family collaboration.
Kylie is such a big social media influence because she is this hyper sexualized, fantastic, like alternative life that I think a lot of people wish they could be living. And she is the epitome of Instagram life in terms of everything's perfect, everything's, she's never on her period, she never is suffering from cellulite. Even when things are going bad in her romantic life, it still is shot and edited and curated in such a way that it's a digestible story for the rest of us. So it creates this phenomena where you want to be part of that universe and you feel like you are because she's been a part of your life for the last 10 years.
Whether she's promoting her next business venture or hiding a pregnancy for 9 months, she keeps her audience guessing, never losing favor of her fans. Despite her famous family, she's made a name for herself. And in the age of Instagram, Kylie Jenner is the hottest trend.
Well, I feel like I learned so many tips from the makeup artist and the hairstylist and my older sisters, so I just love to share that.
The youngest of the Kardashian-Jenner clan, Kylie Kristen Jenner, was born on August 10, 1997 in Los Angeles, California. She is the youngest daughter of retired Olympian Caitlyn Jenner and Kris Jenner.
It was Kylie's first movie ever.
Really?
She stayed awake during the whole thing. She paid attention during the whole thing. I was amazed, so it must have been good.
Kylie Jenner was kind of launched into the spotlight at a really young age. She was like 10. And I remember one of the early episodes showed Kylie playing around on a stripper pole that was in the Kardashian home. And Bruce, was really upset that Kylie was on a stripper pole, which you can totally understand, by the way. But Kylie was in high school. She was in a normal public high school, state school. And she was very quickly homeschooled. I don't know if she was dealing with bullying or too much scrutiny, but it got to be too much for her. So they took her out of high school and started homeschooling her.
Since the age of 10, she's starred alongside her family on reality TV show Keeping Up with the Kardashians, propelling her to fame at a young age. This made her a familiar face in the world of showbiz, setting her up for a steady career in the future.
The Kardashian show, when it was first released, was pretty popular right from the get-go, mainly because of Kim Kardashian's sex tape, which had just come out. People wanted to see what this girl was really like and what her family was like. And all of a sudden, we see this modern-day, kooky, Brady Bunch-like family that's living in this world, but at the end of the show, they always are united as a family. And I think people genuinely fell in love with the idea that in the midst of all of this drama and terrible family dynamics and arrests, there could be a family that actually stuck together and represented some kind of modern day Brady Bunch values.
Well, I think there's just so many of us, and I think that all different ages and shapes and sizes and personalities, and I think that everybody can at least relate to one of us. And so then when you maybe relate to one of us, then you kind of observe everybody else and think, okay, so it's fun, yeah.
There was a lot of speculation when the show first launched that Kris herself was behind a leak of Kim Kardashian's now very infamous sex tape. The reason some people thought this is because the sex tape came out just before the show aired for the first time, giving it an automatic audience and interest that it just wouldn't have had otherwise. Now, Kris has vehemently denied this, saying what kind of mother would leak her own daughter's sex tape, which was a very painful situation, embarrassing for Kim. I don't know if she's that Machiavellian, but there certainly were people who thought that to be the case, only because the sex tape release directly benefited the audience and the initial ratings of the show. Kim herself has alluded to the fact that, her sex tape is what launched the show. She has said to her siblings, everything you have is because of me. All the show and all the money you've made and everything is on my back. And she's not totally wrong. Kim's sex tape coming out just before the initial show launch guaranteed interest and press column inches, and it actually was the beginning of everything. In many ways, the Kardashians have been masters of the reality genre, led, of course, by very adept and famous momager Kris. There's no way the Kardashian family would exist the way it does without the leadership and know-how of Kris Jenner. She has really spearheaded this thing from the get-go. The Kardashian family is probably the most famous family in the history of reality TV. I think they've kind of positioned themselves as a modern day Brady Bunch with sex tapes and stripper poles thrown in the mix. There's never been a shortage of controversies surrounding the Kardashian family. And I think in many ways that has been the biggest secret of their success, is that they know how to manipulate headlines to make sure that they stay firmly in the spotlight. They are never boring, and they manage to go from one scandal or headline grabbing stunt to the next so that their audience stays interested in them. One of the things that's happened with the Kardashian family, which has actually been really lucky, I suppose, is that there are so many different children of different generations and different ages that everyone seems to have one Kardashian that they most relate to. So just when we started to get bored, perhaps, with Khloe and Kourtney and Kim, here comes Kendall and Kylie to, really enthrall a new generation of fans.
I think with Kylie being born into a famous family and being on television from such a young age, it sets up a kind of two things. One thing is it's normalcy to have the media around you, people be interested in your life. It wasn't weird for her. From her being on the TV show at such a young age, she was literally going into people's homes on a very regular basis. So she became part of the narrative of people's personal identities, and each, even regardless of where they lived, it was something, a commonality that she created with all these different kids. And also it's almost like for them, the aspirational life you could have. So because she was their age, was an entry into a way to identify with her, but she also became a part of their lives as well.
Originally, the show focused on the three Kardashian sisters, Kourtney, Kim, and Khloe. However, once Kylie and older sister Kendall matured, they featured in more and more episodes.
One of the things the show has done really well is that when there are rumors, they do put them on the show. They don't run away from them. People only buy in because their promise is 100% unvarnished truth. And even though the individual episodes are, alleged to be scripted, which I believe to some degree they are, for sure, on the other hand, I do think that they address the real life headlines on the show in an honest way, more so than other reality shows do, certainly.
You know what? I'm ready for another set of teenage girls. And the problem Kendall and Kylie have is that I have 6 girls. Those are the last 2. I've seen everything. And I feel sorry for them because there's nothing that they can do that I haven't already seen. And, with Kourtney and Kimberly and Khloe, I mean, they were a handful as teenagers, a handful. I mean, Khloe, when she was like 12 or 13, sneaking out of the house in the middle of the night. And, fortunately I caught her. But so I am a very experienced father. And I kind of feel sorry for them because I've seen it all. There's nothing they can't do. You know, and those girls that were ahead of them were very good. And, but the good news is they're both of them, Kendall and Kylie, they've in the last, 3 years really kind of grown up in the public eye. And that can be really tough. But I have been nothing but extremely proud of them. My little Kylie, but I've been extremely proud of them, how they've been able to.
Thank you.
Yeah, how they've been able to handle, people and being out in the public eye, because it's not easy to do, and it can kind of get to your head. Well, I've been doing this for a long time. I won the games 34, almost 35 years ago, and been out in the public eye for a long time. So, I stay very close to them. We're extremely close, and just kind of tell them how to handle things and how to be a good person through all of this.
Fans loved seeing what the youngest two siblings would get up to, solidifying a fan base for themselves from a young age.
I think when you are on television, and especially as a kid, you have all the things in terms of child stars that happened before and like all the different kind of cliches that go with it. And you're literally growing up on camera and in front of millions, maybe billions in terms of the Kardashians of people. So that can be all of your weird, awkward stages, all the things the rest of us can like sit at home and close the door and paint the walls black and, be miserable by yourselves. She was going through all that in front of a worldwide global audience. So I think that she was primed, and again, it was normal for her. So it helped her, I think, in terms of she doesn't know any other way to live. I think now if that were to be removed, it'd be weirder for her. There definitely is a mythology and also a history of child stars crashing and burning, and because they're under so much pressure, and adult pressures in a lot of situations, the crews around television and movies and the entertainment industry are predominantly adults. So they're asked to be an adult and function in a business and adult world, even if they are way under the age of 18. And so I think for her to come out on the other end of adolescence as a young woman and at least not look scarred or have a raging crystal meth problem is a huge win.
Robert Kardashian is really the first time we heard the Kardashian name. Now, those of us who are old enough to remember the O.J. Simpson trial, remember Robert Kardashian, who was O.J.'s longtime friend, standing up there next to O.J., defending him in the courtroom.
Nicole Brown Simpson, ex-wife of O.J. Simpson, was found after midnight on the sidewalk outside her West Los Angeles home. Next to it, the body of an unidentified 26-year-old man. Both had apparently been stabbed.
911 emergency. Can you get someone over here now to 325 Gretna Green? He's back. Please. Well, okay, what does he look like? He's O.J. Simpson. I think you know his record.
We heard O.J.'s anger and wondered whether he was capable of murder. 5 years later, ex-wife Nicole and her friend Ronald Goldman were discovered in a pool of blood with their throats slit. Simpson was charged with double murder. He was depressed in seclusion at his lawyer's home and under doctor's care. Simpson's friend Robert Kardashian read what sounded like a suicide note.
I think of my life and feel I've done most of the right things. So why do I end up like this? I can't go on.
Kardashian himself was actually not a very popular figure because a lot of people felt that O.J. was guilty from the get-go and despised Robert Kardashian for helping to get a guilty man off. So most of us heard of the Kardashian name through Robert as the defender of O.J. Simpson. A somewhat controversial decision to defend him. And it's interesting, when O.J. is found innocent, if you watch Robert Kardashian's reaction, he actually looks horrified. It's really interesting, and it led some people to believe that perhaps Robert had become convinced of his guilt during the trial and just didn't expect that he would be entirely acquitted.
Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, a human being, as charged in count 1 of the information.
The O.J. Simpson trial was actually a conflict point for Kris and Robert Kardashian because Kris Jenner, of course, was very good friends with Nicole Brown Simpson and believed in O.J.'s guilt, and so was upset that her then ex-husband was going to defend O.J. Simpson. That's when the Kardashian name first came on the scene. And then, of course, the next one to become somewhat famous was Kim Kardashian. Kylie Jenner grew up really fast. She was famous from the age of 10. By 16, she was super famous. And by 19, she was mega famous.
Being born into what is now one of the most famous celebrity families has definitely given Kylie a good start in life. From age 14, she was collaborating with the clothing brand PacSun alongside her sister Kendall. The pair created a clothing line, Kendall and Kylie, which was positively received among fans, showing the girls had potential as successful young businesswomen.
I think when we're together, anything that we do together, we just feel so comfortable with each other that it comes out so natural to us.
However, the price of fame comes with paparazzi harassment and constant cameras. Around age 16, the press and fans noticed Kylie sporting a much plumper pout than she'd had before.
At the age of 16, one of the ways in which Kylie started getting scrutiny was we started seeing her lips, which had always been, by the way, really thin, miraculously super plumped up and large. And everyone started saying she's getting fillers. Now, she was only 16, which is like borderline questionable. Would you let your 16-year-old inject something into their face? But she denied it, and she said, it's just makeup. I'm really good with lip liner. I'm just lining outside the lips. Most people did not believe that, by the way, because they were actually fuller. They weren't just wider. But that was the story she stuck to for a full year.
However, nobody was shocked when, in May 2015, she announced that she'd been getting fillers after receiving criticism online over her appearance.
Finally, around the age of 17, she admitted that she'd been getting fillers and she was massively insecure about her lips. They show this on the show, by the way, where she says to her sister, they keep asking me about my lips and I don't want to tell them the truth. And one of her sisters says, well, you don't have to do that, just don't tell them. And then she says eventually, no, I'm gonna tell them, and she sort of comes out as using lip filler.
Best bit of advice you've been given by any of your sisters in coping with the fame and the spotlight?
Probably just to stay away from all the blogs and everything and not to read comments or anything. So that's definitely helped me a lot because I really don't read anything.
But that's quite hard as well. People forget, you're a young girl and it's like you've got the issues that everybody else has around the world. I think that's what people relate to you. That's why it works.
For sure.
Yeah. Listen, 5 minutes today. Lovely to talk to you. You look amazing.
This woman has lived inside of me all my life. It's time for her to live. To take that little boy, stick him inside for a while, and let her live. And let's see what she can do. Let's give her a chance.
When Bruce came out as Caitlyn, it caused a worldwide sensation. Caitlyn Jenner posed on the cover of Vanity Fair in a basque kind of negligee, saying, I'm Caitlyn, announcing her name, and at the same time showing off her feminized physique. It was astonishing, particularly because as Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn had been seen as the ultimate in masculinity. And now Caitlyn was saying, I was always in the wrong body. I never felt authentically myself. And now I can be who I am, which is female.
I never in a million years ever thought I would be here, and I'm sure you didn't either, but here I am, baby. Alive and well, thank you very much.
As a journalist, I knew there were rumors about then, as he was known, Bruce, that he actually wanted to transition, and everything was laughed off like it's not true. Even Kris Jenner herself addressed it on a late night talk show saying, it's all made up, it's ridiculous, we laugh at this, and really poo-pooed the whole thing.
For years and years, I never felt like I fit in anywhere. I always felt as an outsider. I never felt good in the male side, and I wasn't obviously in the female side. I was kind of stuck in the middle. But all of a sudden, after making this decision and coming out, it was by far the best thing I ever did.
It caused shockwaves around the world, and what we know now is it also caused shockwaves within the family. Caitlyn says that Kris knew all along that I was struggling with my gender. Kris Jenner says that's not true. I never knew that. I knew that perhaps as Bruce, you like to wear dresses occasionally, but I never knew that you felt you were identifying as a female. So there's been two sides of that story, both of which have been presented on the show and talked about. When there's two sides to a story, people take sides, and it seems that most of the children have allied themselves with Kris, saying that they believe that their mom is in fact, has been thrown under the bus in many ways by Caitlyn, who was trying to sell books and present her side of the story. The Caitlyn drama, like so many other scandals and dramas, have played out openly on the show. In fact, that was one of the highest rated series of episodes they ever had when they faced this head on. The family has been divided. Kris, I don't believe that Kris and Caitlyn speak at all anymore. There's a lot of hurt and anger on both sides. I think Kris feels very betrayed by some of Caitlyn's revelations in her book and subsequent interviews, and the girls have all taken sides as well. For Kylie and Kendall, who are the biological daughters of Caitlyn, it's been particularly difficult, and I think that they do still see their dad. They still call Caitlyn their dad. They see their dad, and they're very much in the middle. And again, we've seen that play out on the show. They had a Christmas party, and the girls wanted Kris to invite Caitlyn, and Kris was resistant, and again, we saw this all play out on the show.
Proudest moment. Obviously, I am very proud of the games and what I was able to accomplish there. Okay, that's kind of the first proud thing I had. The next thing I'm the most proud of, barring none, much bigger than the games, is I raised 10 wonderful children.
The makeup and the skincare, we're going to see you doing fashion as well, do you think?
Well, I have.
You've done a little bit, but obviously not in the same way that Kendall's kind of doing a lot of catwalk, isn't she? And then you're kind of taking the skincare and makeup.
Yeah, I'm not a model. I don't aspire to be. She's got that covered, but other than that, just me and Kendall have a lot of cool fashion stuff coming up. So.
In August 2015, Kylie announced the launch of Kylie Lip Kits, her cosmetic range of liquid lipsticks and matching lip liners. The initial launch was extremely successful, with the first ever launch selling out in minutes, crashing the site.
I am so thrilled. Everything beauty. I feel like I'm such a girly girl, so it's so much fun, and I love taking care of my skin and my body, so it's really cool.
When she got a little bit older, Kylie wanted to start having her own identity outside of that of her sisters and outside of just being a Kardashian on the television show. So she really started harnessing social media, which again, she'd grown up in. She's a digital native. The people that are following her and her fans are also digital natives. And one of the great things that she started doing for her career was being if you would, like a brand ambassador. And what's the best way to do that? Have your own brand.
What we see throughout the family is this insanely smart way of capitalizing on scandals and weaknesses. So when Kylie was kind of dogged in the press for lying about getting lip filler, which you could maybe try and bury that and move on, no, the family jumps on that as a story point and very, very masterfully turns that into a cosmetic empire. Because what they did was they had Kylie release these lip kits when she was around 17, where she shows the world how she draws on these beautiful big lips herself. You know, she'd already admitted to using filler, but she also talked openly about being insecure about her lips, and this is a way that she could give herself beautiful, plump lips, even without filler. And in fact, for some time, we saw Kylie stop injecting her lips with filler, showing off her natural lips, but then using her lip kits to boost her pout, to give her a bigger, sultrier, sexier pout, and she sold millions of them. In fact, when they first launched, the site crashed in like the first minute because they sold so many. And now her beauty empire is close to $1 billion.
In February 2016, she renamed the company to Kylie Cosmetics. Within the first 18 months, the company had generated $420 million in revenue. In March 2019, Forbes estimated the company's value to be $900 million.
A great product. Obviously, the Kardashians are known for their glamour. And so it made perfect sense for her to not just be a brand ambassador for someone else, but to have her own line of products. And cosmetics was a perfect fit for that. With her lip kits, Again, it was a product that her fans could look at and they could emulate the Kylie/Kardashian lifestyle by purchasing the kit.
When the world watches you every day, it's hard to hide things from the media, and speculation had been building about Kylie being in a secret relationship with rapper Tyga. The pair had been spotted together several times, but on many occasions had denied romance, claiming they were just friends.
By the age of 16, she was already really famous. And this was also around the time that she started to be linked with Tyga, who was much older, and also she was underage, more importantly. So that was always kind of downplayed, even though they always seemed to be together and it seemed like they were in a romantic sexual relationship. But again, she was underage, so that part was not addressed on the show. They didn't want anyone getting arrested off the back of the show. So Kylie's relationship with Tyga was mostly kept under the radar until she turned 18, and then they kind of came out as a couple. But you do kind of wonder how long that had been going on.
When Kylie turned 18 in August 2015, Tyga bought her a Ferrari 458 convertible, a very expensive proclamation of his love for her.
Get out of the street. Take a shot. There we go, baby. Hey, Jordan. Work it, big. Hold on, yo, this trap niggas do shit. Trap niggas do shit like that. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. What's the point? Let's go, baby. How we doing? Tiger, made it! Tiger, what's up, man? Some kinky shit. Right it. Kylie, we love you. You can be whatever you want, Kylie. Kiss. You finally 18, fresh out the lot. Just do it! Tyga, just kiss her, man. It's legal now. Come on, Kylie, give us. Clear it out. Watch out. Back up. Congratulations. I guess this makes up for what happened to you. I really love you. Let's go, everybody off the street. Let's go. Oh, Tyga. Watch out, guys. Watch out. Excuse me. Hey, Charles, start that motherfucker up. Watch out. Oh, dude, the bush. Hey, look. Push him out the way, bro. Move up. Get your fuck away from him. Don't touch him, nigga. Dude, I ain't touching nobody. This outside your phone. It's your birthday.
Rumors of engagement, marriage, and pregnancy circled the couple constantly, though clearly none of them were true. But it wasn't long before cheating rumors were also flying around. In November 2015, they take a break with the media saying they're calling it quits over something Tyga did. They got back together in December 2015 and appeared more solid than ever, with Tyga gifting Kylie with a huge diamond ring, sparking further rumors of a rushed engagement. On May 11th, 2017, E! Network premiered Life of Kylie with a promotional video announcing the series, which would be a similar concept to Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but focuses on Kylie and her own life and relationships, since she had moved out of the family home and was leaving her own mark in Calabasas.
For so long, I've been putting on this different persona to the world. When you grow up on camera, my family's in there. Everybody feels like they know you.
Those are my hiccups.
I don't want to be a weirdo. I'm over it. I'm nervous. There's two sides of me. There's an image that I feel constantly pressure to keep up with. And then there's who I really am. That's who I want you guys to get to know.
The series was to follow her life of fashion and makeup as she tries to balance a normal life as well as a business. However, the series was canceled September 2017.
in 2014, Kylie Jenner applied to trademark the name Kylie. Nobody else can use it but her. This was going to be for her clothing, her cosmetics, and everything else that fell under the Kylie Jenner brand. Now, a massive issue happened, and that is Kylie Minogue, the Australian pop singer, her lawyers were not having any of that. And she went to block and ban Kylie Jenner from trademarking and owning the Kylie name just for herself. And one of the reasons the lawyers brought up was that Kylie Jenner, they said, was a reality TV star versus Kylie Minogue, who has a career spanning decades with pop music hits. She's a beloved icon from the soap operas. She's also a cancer survivor and talks publicly and openly and supports different cancer charities. So on one hand, you have someone that has been made from social media and image, and even the very products that she is representing is all about image. And then on the other hand, that they were positioning Kylie Minogue as being someone with a lot more substance and a long track record. So that was the main things the case was founded on.
The trademark was successfully blocked in February 2017, with Kylie Minogue insisting there were no hard feelings. Sadly, young love doesn't always last. Kylie and Tyga eventually split in April 2017, claiming they were taking some space from each other. Some eagle-eyed fans suggested that lyrics in his songs made it seem though Tyga had cheated on Kylie, but the media never followed up on these claims. Kylie said she was the one to call off their relationship, putting it down to age and the strain of a very public life putting pressure on her, and this was reflected in her emotions and actions.
When Kylie split from Tyga, there wasn't much known. We don't know exactly why they split, but there were rumors going around that Tyga had done something. We assume cheated on her, but that has never been proven or anything. We just know they broke up. Very shortly after that, within a few months, she met Travis Scott.
Kylie began her relationship with Travis Scott in 2017, just months after her split from Tyga. She quickly found herself pregnant, but kept her entire pregnancy a secret.
They met at Coachella, they started hanging out, and it was like lightning happened. Very quickly she fell pregnant, super fast. And a lot of people wondered if Travis was even gonna stick around because they'd only just been dating and she was gonna have his baby. Now, Kylie kept the pregnancy secret for months and months. So there were all kinds of rumors based on her appearance that she was pregnant, but we never really knew for sure until she actually showed that she was, just before she had baby Stormy.
She managed to stay out of the public eye for the duration and never formally announced it until after her daughter was born. Pretty impressive for one of the biggest celebrities in Hollywood. On February 2nd, Kylie published a video called "To Our Daughter." It was an intimate and sentimental video announcing the birth of her first child, Stormy. It was the top trending YouTube video of 2018 according to the platform, and has almost achieved 100 million views as of February 2020.
Is she moving? Yeah. So it's normal when it's fluid around. Oh, look. So crazy.
So I'm 34 weeks today. Only got a month left.
What do we got here?
2 burgers. One for me, one for the baby.
Travis stuck around. They seemed to be a happy family, unmarried, but, partnered. I don't believe he ever gave up his own house. In fact, they talked about this, that he had his own house, she had her own house, but he mostly was at hers with the baby, but he still had a chance to kind of go have his freedom. Of course, as a very successful artist, he was also touring a lot, which meant he was away. And Kylie and Stormy actually went on tour with him at many points just to keep him company. Unfortunately, though, and some would say unsurprisingly, with a couple this young and such different careers, there were cracks that started to appear, and they had a breakup of sorts where they sort of said, yeah, we're not together, but we're the best of friends and we're happily co-parenting our daughter. Having said that, when Stormi had her second birthday, Kylie and Travis looked like they were reconciling. They looked really into each other. So it's not entirely clear if the relationship is completely over or not.
Kylie Jenner is reportedly now worth $1 billion as of 2019. That makes her the youngest billionaire in history and the youngest self-made billionaire ever, according to Forbes, which included her on its list of the world's billionaires. Her latest boost in wealth comes primarily from Kylie Cosmetics, her cosmetics company, which Forbes now values at $900 million. Some critics on social media have taken issue with the description of Kylie as a self-made billionaire because she was born into wealth and fame.
When Kylie Jenner was put on the cover of Forbes as the youngest self-made billionaire, a lot of people said it wasn't fair because she wasn't self-made. She came from a rich family that had a platform to launch her business.
I think saying that Kylie Jenner is self-made, it's not genuine at all, because it sets this precedent up for kids her age to think, oh, I could as well be a self-made millionaire by that age. I could be doing this, that, and the other, having the empire. Well, how many others people that age, or people in general, have a global platform of a TV show that's watched and becomes a cultural phenomenon in that sort of level to be able to traject themselves the way that she was? So there really is no self-made. Kylie Jenner was not sitting in her house in middle America making YouTube videos from her trailer. She just wasn't. She was on TV on a TV show that is an international hit. So to say she was self-made is absolutely not true. Also, I think who is buying these products? It's her fans that are buying into the fantasy. And again, it's a self-perpetuating fantasy of they've grown up with her, they know her, they feel comfortable, she's someone to aspire to. So the fans are, she obviously holds the billions, but the fans are the ones that have made her, not something she's done that's so amazing in and of herself.
I would argue that the Kardashians are very much self-made in the sense that they have masterfully, and when I say they, I mean Kris Jenner, but they have masterfully manipulated every single criticism that's been leveled against them, every single bad thing that's happened to them, every single scandal that has enveloped them. They have figured out a way to stay on top and to use that to their advantage in a way that has never been done before or since. And you have to, whether you love them or you despise them, you have to give credit where credit is due. They have not been given their fame and their money. They have reached up, and whether you agree with their methods or not, and they have grabbed it themselves.
Kylie's entrepreneurial efforts are definitely impressive for someone her age. She's the most financially successful member of the Kardashian-Jenner family, surpassing her older half-sister Kim Kardashian West, who has an estimated net worth of $350 million.
One of the things Kim has done recently is a range of shapewear. Now, it makes a lot of sense because, first of all, she wears it herself. We've all seen pictures of Kim Spanx showing under a dress or something. So we know she wears shapewear. She loves tight-fitting bodycon, bodysuits, leotards, all the time she wears those. So it was a perfect thing for her. The problem was the name. They called it kimono initially, which a lot of Japanese people felt was disrespectful and cultural appropriation and not okay. So Kim had to kind of backtrack from that and change the name. The problem was a lot of it had already been produced and she was going to lose literally millions of dollars. So she had to cut the label out of all these things and literally have people sew in a new label with a new name, which is now Skims. And it took a little while, but they did it and then they were able to launch it to great success. Additionally, Kim has a lot of perfumes that she comes out with. She's very, very famous for them, and she gets her family, her siblings, to promote them on their own social media. She's done a collaboration with Kylie, who is the very big beauty mogul in that family. And again, it's a way for the family to make money. It does sort of beg the question of when is it enough money? Like when, how much is enough that you would say as a family, like, hey, you know what? We have billions. I think Kim is worth something like 350 million by herself. So maybe just like, you know, take a couple of years off, you know, post some Instagram posts for like 100 grand each and just chill out.
Right now,
it's fun right now.
Yeah.
So until it stops being fun, you know, we're going to continue to do it.
For us, yeah, I agree with Kim. Like right now we're having so much fun, and we've always said when it gets, like we love that we spend our days together, and I get to see my nieces and nephews grow up in front of us. And most families, when you're older and have careers, you're not with each other every day. We get to be with each other every day. So we're so grateful for that.
And so would you say that's the biggest drive in everything you do?
Absolutely.
Like your whole thing is about, you know...
Everything.
Yeah.
Family first.
I love that.
Yeah. I know people who've worked with the Kardashians, who've had like contracts with the Kardashians, and they've all said the same thing. These girls are professional. They show up on time, they do the work, they fulfill their contract, and they go home. They don't show up drunk, they don't show up wasted. They're not like typical celebrities who, you know, they call in sick or they throw fit tantrums. They're not like that. They're actual hardworking people, and they treat their jobs with a professional work ethic, which of course comes from their mom, who has really instilled that to them. But they do approach, doesn't matter if it's a body boosting detox tea or some silly kind of hair shampoo, they approach everything in a professional business way. And that's one of the reasons they keep booking jobs.
Kylie Jenner has also successfully overtaken Kim on social media. She thinks this is because she has a wider appeal to the younger generation, whereas Kim's fans are across many different generations.
It's very easy, really, to understand why Kylie has taken over from Kim as the most popular. It really has to do with her age. You know, Kylie is younger. She's a lot younger, actually, than Kim. And her fans are the youngest generation of people who are on Instagram and Snapchat. Kylie's also been really good on YouTube and social media, much more so than Kim has. And Kylie has done makeup tutorials on YouTube, and she's become very accessible for her fans in a way where she shows off more of her day-to-day personal life, what she's doing. She's more accessible, she seems more real, she's a lot younger, and therefore her fan base is a lot larger than Kim's is. You know, if you look at Kim, she's almost 40. She's a mom of 4 children. The fact that she's still as popular as she is incredible. With the kind of short attention span that today's young people have, and people my age, sort of Kim's contemporaries, we're certainly not fans. So they have to constantly recruit this young generation of people who will look up to them, idolize them, and buy their products. And it's not going to be 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds doing this. It's going to be 15-year-old girls. That is who everybody wants to capture. And the older you get, the harder that is to do.
She is of a digital native age. These are people that have only grown up with the internet and with social media. If we think about it, something like MySpace is 15 years old-ish at this point. So that age group, they've only known a life with social media. Kim is just enough older, just enough having the kids, just enough, a little bit, matronly is not the right word, but I think almost when you're starting to mature into having children and stuff like that, I think you're letting go of the fantasy a little bit more. Whereas Kylie Jenner is possibility still, the possibility of what my life may be. And it's a glimpse into, if you would, the other side of the looking glass.
In May 2019, Kylie launched her new range of products, Kylie Skin. The first launch sold out within hours of its release. As her other products are so well loved, people were excited to try this new venture in her cosmetics line. Kylie Skin has received mixed reviews, some saying the products aren't well developed and Kylie herself probably doesn't even use them. Others think they work for their price point. People have criticized Kylie for releasing a skincare range when she herself is not a dermatologist.
I am so thrilled. Everything beauty. I feel like I'm such a girly girl, so it's so much fun, and I love taking care of my skin and my body, so it's really cool.
Following on the success of her lip kits, which were still a runaway global success, Kylie launched Kylie Skin, which is a skincare range, which is beautiful packaging, very pretty, very pink. But it caused controversy because they showed Kylie actually using it, washing her face, and people said, you know, she doesn't really use this. We know she's probably secretly using super expensive products from dermatologists. Kylie's not a dermatologist. And this is just crass, raw marketing at its finest. And you know, the thing is, at a price point that's accessible for the audience that Kylie has, most likely Kylie can afford like super expensive La Mer face creams that are $1,000 a bottle. So why would she use a moisturizer that's, you know, $15? It's a good question, and it's never really, I mean, no matter what she says, people are not gonna believe it. But do I believe that Kylie uses her own products? Yes, I believe she probably does. Every day? Probably not.
Despite showcasing their lives on a reality show, fans still get excited to see the Kardashian-Jenner family post videos of each other themselves, feeling like it's a more candid experience. Since the posting of her pregnancy video, Kylie has become more active on social media platform YouTube, releasing videos about her skincare, Q&As with her family and friends, makeup tutorials, and more.
Kylie is more accessible than the other girls. She puts a lot on social media of her day-to-day. She'll show off her offices. She'll show off her bedroom. She'll post pictures of her doing a shoot. She's very accessible to her fans, and it's one of the reasons she has so many fans and she is so successful. So as part of a kind of behind-the-scenes look at her offices, she showed the room where Stormi sleeps when she's visiting mom at work.
In a recent YouTube video, Kylie showed off the offices of her company, Kylie Cosmetics. She finished the tour in the room where her daughter Stormi was sleeping and sang to her daughter, "Rise and shine," to wake up Stormi. Kylie hasn't claimed to be the best singer, but to the internet, that didn't matter. The video went viral and fans lost their minds over this moment of off-pitch a cappella.
We're gonna wake Stormi up and get out of here and show you guys her room. Rise and shine. Oh my goodness, you have a mark from sleeping. You were sleeping good.
It's actually kind of bad. It's off tune. It's not like amazing. But everybody was so excited that Kylie sang, you know, on camera. We heard it, that they actually took that little bit of singing and turned it into like a song, and they sampled it, and it became this viral media moment.
Once it became meme status, it took off. Kylie wanted to trademark the phrase to use on merchandise and in her companies, as it was instantly relatable with her name.
I love Olivier. Balmain never fails me. Anytime I'm like, I don't know what to wear, I want a spectacular dress, I always go for Balmain. I love Olivier. For sure, I think there's a lot of stuff that I want to accomplish this year, but I have a few surprises coming out this year, so I'm just looking forward to everything right now.
Kylie Jenner has proven that worldwide success has no age limitations. Growing up in the shadows of her older sister's successes, she has finally stepped out and created a legacy of her own.
It's gonna be really fascinating to see what happens with people like Kylie Jenner that have been made on social media. So they've been made by something that is always constantly in flux and changing and upgrading, and is very, very transitive, and is also very, very disposable. And I think that is a huge part of it, which is going to be very interesting. We're living at a time right now that's very thin culturally. And I think either what's gonna happen is we're just gonna have more and more and more celebrities like Kylie Jenner that have these huge pops, but what is there to sustain them? You know what I mean? Is there this body of work in terms of something beautiful to look at, like a painting, or a beautiful song to listen to, or words written on a page that reverberate with you throughout your life? No, it's a picture on Instagram of makeup and a very contoured face. So in one way, it's easy to say, you know, she's just a flash in the pan. On the other side of it is going back to this whole thread of normalcy. That is the new normal. If you don't know anything else, if you've only been brought up with that being what is of value, then there's no reason why that kind of culture is not going to be perpetuated indefinitely.
I'm sure Kylie has a successful future, but she already has been so successful, she could easily opt to just walk away and live an authentic life.
Despite being part of one of the most famous families in Hollywood, she credits herself for becoming self-made and creating one of the most popular cosmetics companies ever, with a little help from her momager, of course. With an incredible work ethic and a wide appeal to fans across the globe, the internet is waiting to see what Kylie's next business venture will be. Mother, entrepreneur, and influencer Kylie Jenner has done it all. and will no doubt continue to steal the spotlight from her famous sisters for many years to come.
Do you ever pinch yourself and think, oh my goodness, I can't get used to this attention, because you're followed everywhere you go?
I know. Like I said, it's been since I was like a 9, so I'm just like used to it at this point.
What's the best bit of advice you've been given by any of your sisters in coping with the fame and the spotlight?
Probably just to stay away from all the blogs and everything and not to read comments or anything. So that's definitely helped me a lot because I really don't read anything.
That's quite hard as well. People forget, you know, you're a young girl and it's like you've got the issues that everybody else has around the world. I think that's what people relate to you. That's why it works.
For sure.